What if you found a portal to a parallel universe? What if you could slide into 1,000 different worlds? Where it's the same year, and you're the same person, but everything else is different. And what if you can't find your way home?
Okay, so I admit one of the reasons that I started this show was to talk about things that aren't related to books, like MST3K or Ghostbusters, which were good, but were ruined. But there's another show I want to talk about that was so awesome, but it was ruined. And that show is Sliders. Yes, if you follow my Twitter or Tumblr, you'd know that I am a huge fan of Sliders. It had such potential, but that was dashed by a combination of network meddling and production woes. So, let's slide into Sliders. Sliders was a show made in 1995 by Tracy Torme that was about science whiz Quinn Mallory, played by Jerry O'Connell, who creates a device that can transport himself to a number of parallel universes. He drags along his friend and main love interest, Wade Wells, played by Sabrina Lloyd, his physics professor, Maximilian Arturo, played by John Rhys-Davies, and a washed-up singer who got dragged in accidentally, Rembrandt Brown, played by Cleveland Derricks. They travel to countless worlds and pick up a few people on the way, including pilot Maggie Beckett, played by Carrie Wurr, and Quinn's brother from another world, Colin Mallory, played by Charlie O'Connell, the brother of Jerry O'Connell. Then, in Season 5, we were introduced to Mallory, played by Robert Floyd, a fraternal double of Quinn that was merged with him thanks to Londo from Babylon 5, and Dr. Diana Davis, played by Tembi Locke, a scientist who, frankly, wasn't that bad when she joined the group, but she wasn't Sliders material in my opinion. The first 3 seasons aired on Fox, and the last 2 were on the Sci-Fi Channel, much like Mystery Science Theater. The concept of it, a show where people travel to parallel universes, is amazing. And the first 2 seasons were so great. It had everything. I'll let Quinn tell you about some of the worlds.
A world where the Russians rule America. Or where your dreams of being a superstar came true. Or where San Francisco was a maximum security prison.
I might as well count my favorite episodes towards what worked. And those would be the pilot, which set up the basic elements and had the aspects of drama and speculative fiction that you come to love from this show. Fever, Eggheads, Last Days, The Weaker Sex, Jillian of the Spirits, Post-Traumatic Slide Syndrome, Invasion, Double Cross, The Guardian, and My Brother's Keeper. I didn't love any of the Season 5 episodes, but Eye of the Storm wasn't bad, and if The Unstuck Man and Applied Physics weren't episodes that still had the stinging of Quinn's departure in them, they'd have been pretty good episodes. Another thing that I liked was that when Diana was introduced, she wasn't a shoehorned-in love interest for Rembrandt. You'd think that's what she was there for, since they had one for Quinn. And now, Remy deserves a chance, right? I'm glad they didn't go that route, because Rembrandt wasn't the character who needed a love interest. He loved his music and the idea of getting home. Another aspect of what worked was, at least in the first 2 seasons, were the characters. This show has the strongest characters I've ever seen, and it's not just the main cast. The recurring characters were amazing. For example, Conrad Benish Jr., the resident intelligent stoner, is my favorite recurring character because he's just so awesome. And even Pavel, the Russian taxi driver, was funny. But I think the best part was that the arc of the show was to attempt to find their way home. No contrived villains. No arc that took over the show. None of that. At first. But you can't have a great show without something ruining it. Where to begin? Well, Season 3. Season 3 destroyed the show. First of all, it wasn't without decent episodes, but oh boy, was it bad. In fact, with the exception of an episode from early Season 3, I've seen every episode of Sliders, including Season 5 and the finale. Yeah, I was able to sit through the Cro-Mags and Mallory, but not Dragon Slide. I bailed on that episode in the first 10 minutes and I never looked back. Also, Maggie, from Season 3 until Season 5, was insufferable. And she sort of got worse close to the end of Season 5, but for the most part, Season 5 Maggie was tolerable. Not to mention that every character that left the show got the worst exit ever. The professor was shot. Wade was sent to a Cro-Mag prison and then became no more than Jan in the Pan. Colin was unstuck and sent hurtling around the multiverse, and Quinn was merged with a douchebag. Seriously, Robert Floyd is a decent actor, but Mallory is a douche. When they were in a Civil War scenario, he wanted to meet Robert E. Lee and be on the Confederate side. What the hell, right? Get rid of David Peckinpah. Just can him and get Tracy Torme back. Now, I get it. Torme left to take care of his ailing father, Mel Torme, who was actually in the episode Greatfellas. I don't blame Tracy at all, but I can blame Fox, who, as has been said, to strangle sci-fi in the cradle by many of my reviewing colleagues. And I have to agree. I mean, look at Terra Nova and Firefly. Terra Nova was flawed, but it was pretty good. And Firefly, I don't even need to say anything about that. You already know. Fox doesn't know what viewers want. We don't want another McFarlane show. We want good speculative fiction. And of course, they never should have killed off Arturo, because he was really the heart of the show. I like Quinn, but Arturo was my favorite before he left the show. And the universes they went to in Season 3 kinda sucked. I mean, some were good, like the ones in Double Cross, The Guardian, and The Prince of Slides, and they weren't so bad. But the rest were seriously lacking in the aspects of a good Sliders episode. They weren't interesting worlds, and the change in tone after Arturo left nearly killed the show for me. If they were to fix it and make the episodes interesting, it may have helped the show along. Also, the Quinn and Maggie relationship was the most contrived relationship I have ever seen in a TV show. With Quinn and Wade, it worked. They had a history. They had feelings for each other that had been known for Season 1, for Christ's sake. Watch Laugh Days if you want to know more about that. And they never went forward with it. But no, Quinn and Maggie totally had chemistry. Oh no, wait, they didn't. They were at each other's throats until Quinn left the goddamn show. So take that out, and it would be fixed. In fact, that was where Season 5 worked. The Quinn and Maggie relationship was gone. And that was Sliders. We might come back to this show in the future to tackle how to fix some of the really bad episodes, but we'll see where that goes. Sliders is currently on Netflix, save for 2 Season 1 episodes, Last Days and The Weaker Sex, that are only available on DVD, and to my knowledge, they still occasionally play Sliders on the Hub network. So if you don't have Netflix, you can look for it there. Hey guys, Michael from the future here. Okay, so I forgot to mention this really good parody that Funny or Die did, where around the time the Veronica Mars Kickstarter happened, they did a really funny parody where they had Quinn pretending to have a Kickstarter for a Sliders movie. And it's only a few minutes long, but it's nice to see Jerry O'Connell playing Quinn again. Anyway, that's about it, so I'm going to go back to Past Me. That's all the time we have for today, but there's still more works of media to fix. I'll see you next time.
What if you found a portal to a parallel universe? What if you could slide into 1,000 different worlds? Where it's the same year, and you're the same person, but everything else is different. And what if you can't find your way home?